Hey fitness family, this is Damon Reio. I'm with Chef Emily today, and basically what we wanted to do was give you an awesome gift. In part of this event that we're doing, a lot of times whenever I'm training, I get a lot of clients. They're always telling me I don't have time to eat breakfast, or because I have a job and I have to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning to go to work. So what we decided to do on February 9th at 1 p.m. at Physiques, what we're going to do is offer a cooking class and show folks how to cook certain foods, prepare certain foods in order to eat regularly on a consistent basis in order to maintain their weight. But today what we're going to do is just introduce the smoothie. I have with me Chef Emily. She is an awesome person, and I will let her continue.
Well, thank you, Damon. I'm Chef Emily Golden Drews. I'm based here in St. Petersburg. I serve the Tampa Bay area, and I've been a personal chef for several years now, 4 years, and I have a long history of cooking, going on almost 20 years, and I've parlayed that into passion for health and nutrition. And having skills as a chef has, given me a great platform to come and share it with folks like you and your clients and your students. So one of the things I think is a great tool, and I think a lot of people will agree, is a smoothie. Now, smoothies are really abundant in the marketplace. People make them. You can find recipes. There are a lot of stores and restaurants you can go and grab a smoothie. The thing is, do we really know what's in those smoothies? Do they really have optimal nutrition?
Right.
A lot of them have a lot of fruit. A lot of them have things like sorbet and sherbet, and you can add protein. In my opinion, protein should be a staple in your smoothie, because if you're going to use it as a meal, it should have all of your basic macronutrients, fat, protein, and carbohydrate from whole food sources, not necessarily sugar sources like sorbet and low-fat yogurt. So we're going to make a really delicious whole food smoothie that's, I find, very satisfying. It's something my husband and I share at home as a tool in our diet when we know we're not going to have enough time to cook, or we have a really busy day ahead. Maybe we don't have a lot of groceries in the house at the moment, but we try to keep staples available. And these are things we use in other dishes, but they also work really well as a smoothie.
So the smoothie can act as a meal replacement, is what you're saying?
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely.
Huh.
So this sort of removes your excuse for not getting, a proper meal in. Okay, so you're not cooking. That's fine. You don't have to cook, but you're creating something that's from whole foods that will satisfy you until you do have your next actual meal.
That doesn't mean make tropical smoothies rich.
Right.
I know a lot of people like tropical smoothies, but tell them a little bit about the
this is your hard-earned money. This is what you decide to put in your smoothie, the quality of the ingredients, the type of ingredients, and it's your money. When you go to Tropical Smoothie, you're, first of all, you really don't, you can look at the list of ingredients, but when you're choosing to go there, you're choosing to accept what they're selling you. And in that sense, you're taking away control of your own health and nutrition and choices. And they're very high in sugar. You're going to have to eat again really soon. You're taking in a lot of calories, you're spiking your blood sugar, and it's not going to be too long when you're going to need another meal because you're unsatisfied. So
Interesting.
The idea of having a smoothie with all, a well balance of macronutrients is that it will satisfy you for quite a long time. I can drink a very rich, nutrient-packed smoothie, and I'm good for quite a while.
Interesting.
Because I'm on the road a lot. I cook. I'm in different people's kitchens every week. I'm out shopping. I'm out. I'm an active person. I have a family. I work out.
Cool.
I love to cook, but I don't cook 3 meals 7 days a week. So, I'm a practical person in a modern day society. So.
Shoot, I'm getting anxious.
Are you hungry? It's like dinner time. It's like dinner time.
Hungry and thirsty.
It doesn't matter what kind of blender. You can even do this in a food processor. I just happen to have, this is a restaurant quality. It's sort of a mid-level in terms of price. You can get super, super expensive ones, or you can get inexpensive ones at any discount store. Either way, whatever works best for you. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money to have this type of equipment in your house. So, one of the things that I know I don't get enough of, and that's probably true for most people except maybe my husband, because he eats the stuff like he's grazing on grass.
Wow.
But these are just fresh whole greens. You can use spinach. We have here tatsoi. We have baby red kale. You can use like a salad mix that blends up really well in your blender. You can use Swiss chard. Any kind of organic green, even if you have a garden or if you go and buy it at the farmer's market. Try different things. These are both mild. So we have a red kale, and we have the little spinach, and we just wash them and throw them into our blender. So I'm going to put these in first because they're the bulkiest, and we're going to load stuff on top of them. And this, once you blend it, you not only don't taste it, but you don't feel it. It's not... you know, you don't get a texture. You don't get like the texture of I'm drinking a salad. It's not like that at all, which is why I like to include these, because it's a quick and delicious way for me to get those in. Okay, here's my sweetener. My brown, my brown banana that I've thrown into the freezer. Now you can actually peel these before you put them in the freezer, and they actually separate really easily. But in a pinch, when I want to get these guys in the freezer before they actually get too dark, sometimes I'll just throw them in like they are. But a nice ice cold banana will give you that sort of shake texture. It'll make it nice and cold and creamy. Another thing is frozen fruit. I like a mix of fruit just for flavor, but if you want to get just blueberries or just raspberries, just strawberries to mix up your flavors, that's great. And these are organic, and I suggest organic only because conventional, well, let's go ahead and put the whole thing in.
Yeah, why not?
I suggest organic only because conventionally grown berries tend to have a high amount of pesticides present in them, but you don't have to use a lot. Consider when you're using portion as against buying your organic product, think about the portion size. If it's something that you spend a lot of money on, you just put a little bit in. Just make sure you're getting that in. Almond butter is another great way for palatability. This is a sugar-free, creamy almond butter, and there are many, many brands, many styles. You can get roasted, unroasted, raw, creamy, chunky.
That has protein in it too, huh?
Excuse me?
And that has protein in it as well.
Yeah, protein and the fat that's going to make us satisfied. There's something really important about having fat in your meals, and that is, I don't know, I think I'm going to use my lid to scrape this in. Roughly about a tablespoon and a half. So having the proper amount of fat in your meals too creates satiety.
Yeah.
You feel full, you feel satisfied, and it helps regulate your hormone balance. Your brain, as we know, is pretty much made up of fat.
Totally.
So we need to feed it with fat in order to function properly. It actually helps facilitate digestion. It's not just satisfying, but we need fat, including saturated fat, to help facilitate digestion.
And from a fitness perspective, not all fats are bad, as Emily was saying. You need the good fats that you'd find like in your nuts, your olive oils, avocados, things like that, to fuel you in order to have stronger workouts, which will ultimately help you to lose more weight, because now you have this energy versus the fats that comes from fried foods. Just thought I should throw that in.
Exactly. We're not having any trans fats or hydrogenated fats or anything like that. These are all naturally occurring fats that we need in a healthy balance for a myriad of reasons. The next thing I'm going to put in, and I don't always use whey, but I feel like if I really need it, maybe I've worked out a lot the day before, and I'm actually tired, I want to make sure when I get up the next morning and I'm going on a long work day, that I am in fact getting plenty of protein. So I will use just a plain, unsweetened, high quality whey protein. And this just tends to, when you need it, absorbs very quickly into the body. And it's basically lactose free. So most people can tolerate this really well.
Cool.
So I'll put that in. Occasionally, if you're bold and you don't taste it, I will put some egg yolks in there. And then I'll cook up the egg whites a little bit later. But you want to just do egg yolks, and I find that works well too. The eggs don't bother me, and I really enjoy having that sort of whole food source of protein. But you can combine or do either or, whatever you prefer. One of my next favorite ingredients, and this is great for flavor, but also for texture and satiety, whole coconut milk has a lot of fat in it.
Yeah.
It has a lot of great flavor in it. And it gives it a really wonderful mouthfeel. It gives it a really wonderful flavor because we're not adding any sweetener in here with the exception of the fruit. So I like to, and I just eyeball it. It just depends. And this is probably going to make, we have a pretty big container here. This is probably going to feed 2 people.
Okay.
Depending on the person. Probably 2 of me, maybe 1 of you. So it just depends. And then in terms of measuring, you can see I'm just pouring everything in.
Yeah.
I have no real measurements. Because that's going to vary depending on your appetite, how much you know you're going to be able. If you make a big container of this and you end up throwing half of it away, you know, we don't want to waste that. And it's only going to last so long before it's not going to taste good.
Absolutely.
You want to drink it right away. So you just kind of learn how much you're going to drink and how much you need. Because this is a lot of food and a lot of calories in one.
Yeah, it looks like a meal.
So now I'm just adding some spring water.
Water, didn't think of that one.
Because these are some pretty thick ingredients.
I see.
And then another thing, which I realized I didn't bring with me because I took it out to cook some dinner before I came here, is a little, this is the secret ingredient, is a little pinch of sea salt. Helps really brighten all the flavors. And we're inundated with so much sort of processed sodium and table salt that is completely lacking in all of our micronutrients that we tend to miss out on a lot of in processed and fast food diets. So sea salt, and even the fancy salts like Celtic salt and Himalayan sea salt, are nice little finishers, nice little taste brighteners. And the more consistently you use those things, you're starting to get more of those micronutrients in that we miss so much in our American diet. So that we won't have today, but that's a little pointer. And I'm going to keep this close by because I'm not sure if we've got enough water in there. So we're just going to blend it. And I have a super, super strong blender here, so that's not going to take very long to do this. Let's see. And that does a pretty efficient job. If you have a smaller home style blender, it might take a little bit longer. But yeah, that's a good consistency. It's like smoothie consistency.
Yeah.
It's not super thin, but it's not super thick, so you can see a little bit of the greens, but
it smells good.
You're not going to be chewing. You could. If you wanted to chew your smoothie, you could, and that's actually good for your digestion, is to kind of play with it in your mouth a little bit. That stimulates your salivary glands and gets that digestion going because you don't have anything to chew.
Right.
It helps to activate those salivary glands.
A lot of times, you know, even if it's a smoothie, if I don't feel like I'm chewing it, I feel as though I'm drinking and I'm not eating. So.
And this is a meal. It's a meal in a glass. Damon, cheers.
Cheers. Cheers, guys. Very good.
Very satisfying.